Papua New Guinea is at the cusp of disintegration because of the breakdown in the rule of law. At the center of this disintegration and the chaos in this country, we have a man who's a megalomaniac who does not know why he has to remain in office as Prime Minister of the country. James Marape is a man who has not got a conscience about right and wrong. He is hell-bent to stay in power for as long as he can, believing that he's anointed by God to remain in office. Now that clearly indicates that he's a man who hasn't got a conscience. And because of him, he's been able to manipulate the breakdown in law and order. Since he became the finance minister under the O'Neill regime in 2012 until 2019, when he took over as prime minister and continued up till 2025, there has been zero accountability of all public accounts. Meaning that the government of Papua New Guinea, under his leadership as finance minister and prime minister, has defrauded the state of Papua New Guinea because they have not accounted for any of the public monies in terms of revenue and expenditure over the last 15 years. Now that is a very serious matter. We do not know how much of foreign loans he has gone to borrow under his administration as Prime Minister and as Finance Minister. There is no record. There has been zero compliance of the Public Finance Management Act in that there's been no audit done and there's been no report presented to Parliament as is required by law under the Public Finance Management Act Section 3. Now that simply tells us that there is no management system in place to deliver services to the people of this country. And we can see that as a result of the breakdown in the rule of law, 80% of the Balkan youth population is now resorting to alcohol, drugs, and prostitution. And there's a serious breakdown in law and order because we don't have leadership in Papua New Guinea. And that the Prime Minister has got the support of an absolute majority on the floor of Parliament, which tells you that they have been bought out lock, stock, and barrel. The Prime Minister was able to abuse his office in granting huge amounts of money to each and every individual member of Parliament to buy their loyalty, to support him, to continue to do what he does best in defrauding the state of Papua New Guinea through various schemes. And the most prominent of all these schemes is the Connect PNG program, where he has used it as a political propaganda to tell the nation that he's doing something that was not done before. But he doesn't even know how to do it properly because he's not able to understand the system and he does not know how to comply with the law. Recently, we've seen him put up a very shallow and stupid show in driving to Alotau in a bush track and also making big news about connecting Ley to Mosby with a couple of 5 Land Cruisers that were towed halfway through that, all the way through from Ley to Mosby, to Mosby because there was no road to run on. It was a bush track. Now that only proves to you that we have a megalomaniac who's not capable of leading anybody, including his own family or anybody, who's leading this country. And definitely this country is going to go into a lot of crisis. And when members of Parliament are colluding and conspiring with all the law enforcement agencies, accepting bribes from the Prime Minister, the country is in a perilous situation And only we, the people, can rise up to restore the rule of law. So, given the current circumstance, where the country has been mortgaged to foreigners through various unlawful loans, only to siphon the money through to the Prime Minister under the PNG Connect scheme so that he can get rich, we have reported publicly and we have written to the police to arrest the Prime Minister and members of Parliament that he has bribed, including officials such as the Secretary for Finance and the Secretary for Works and the Secretary for Treasury, who have conspired with the Prime Minister to defraud the state, to be charged by police. And the police are not going to do anything under the leadership of the current commissioner, Mr. Manning. And therefore, we the people have no choice but to take to the streets and demand the resignation of the Prime Minister immediately. Now, if we don't do that, we will lose our country. As you have seen, there's a flood of foreign businessmen, especially Asians from China and India, who have taken over all our businesses and all our jobs. They have obtained land and resources. They have manipulated the system. They have offered bribes to the politicians, such as the Prime Minister, and they have now put us at risk in losing our sovereignty as we become displaced in our own country. I am now calling on all Papua New Guineans to unite together as one people to demand that the Prime Minister resigns from office immediately. Thank you for watching me, John Ndemongo Kua, President of the People's Anti-Corruption Movement.